They pulled in $56.4 billion in a single year. But while TJ Maxx counted that mountain of cash, they quietly paid $13 million in fines for selling recalled products to people who trusted them. Think about that for a moment. You walk in for a treasure hunt, but that thrill of the find is a carefully built illusion designed to make you feel like you're outsmarting the system while they turn your excitement into profit. The truth is, TJ Maxx has mastered the psychology of making you feel like a genius deal hunter while you unknowingly step onto a factory floor disguised as a playground. But first, let me show you the single biggest lie that built this empire. 1. The Great Overstock Deception. In 2018, a group of TJ Maxx shoppers filed a lawsuit claiming that the compare it tags misled them, that they were shown higher fake prices just to make them feel like heroes finding bargains. And it worked. People believed they were buying leftover luxury from high-end brands that had simply overproduced, and that these racks held real Prada and Calvin Klein pieces rescued from some fancy warehouse in Milan. The truth was different. Back in the 1990s, TJ Maxx did sell genuine overstock. Their shelves sometimes held real designer goods from canceled department store orders. These items still had the tags, the original stitching, and the same fabric you would find in high-end stores. However, something shifted as the company expanded, chasing bigger numbers and pushing for growth in Europe and across the United States. They discovered a more profitable way to fill their endless aisles. Instead of waiting for leftovers, they asked manufacturers to produce items specifically for TJX stores, using cheaper materials and simplified designs to mimic those high-end looks. Today, nearly every single item you see at TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and HomeGoods was made to be sold there. It is not overstock. It is a business model that relies on us believing in the treasure hunt while walking past racks of products engineered for us to think they are rare. This is not speculation. It is how the system is built, with manufacturers using leftover fabric cuts and off-season patterns to create goods labeled as designer exclusives. However, they were never meant for the shelves of Neiman Marcus or Saks Fifth Avenue. And if you have ever found yourself in the store holding a Calvin Klein blazer, wondering why it feels thinner or why the stitching looks a bit loose, you are not imagining it. The tags might tell you a story of Italian luxury, but the licensing agreements often run through TJX Europe's offices in Watford, where deals are made to produce lower-grade lines under recognizable names. You can check your own closet right now. Look closely at those tags. If they list TJX Europe or a generic import line, that is your sign. For years, shoppers saw comparisons at prices that made them feel like they had found the last hidden gem in the store, all while the company counted billions in revenue, growing every quarter. The lawsuit revealed how these fake markdowns gave an illusion of urgency, an impression that walking away meant missing out forever. And TJX kept winning, pulling in around $56 billion, while promising customers they were helping them save. But the fake pricing is just the surface. The real manipulation happens the moment you walk through those doors. The psychology that greets you has been perfected to keep you in the store longer, feeling excited, digging through racks like you are Indiana Jones. At the same time, they turn your curiosity into cold, hard cash. 2. The Psychology Laboratory. From the moment you step inside, TJ Maxx wants you to feel like an explorer. It is not a regular shopping trip. It is a treasure hunt where you are led to believe the next great find could be on the very next rack if you just keep looking. This is intentional. Retail analysts call it the thrill of the hunt, a psychological tactic that taps into your curiosity and your brain's reward system. The promise is simple. You might miss out if you leave now. It starts with the store layout. You walk in, and the first tables are stacked with items that look premium, tagged with those that are compared at prices to tell you that you are saving and smart enough to pick them up. Those tables are rotated often, and the inventory shifts just enough to create a sense that if you don't grab it today, it will be gone tomorrow. This is scarcity marketing in real time, and it builds a fear of missing out that keeps you there, scanning one more aisle, checking one more rack, adding one more item to your cart. Think about your last trip to TJ Maxx. Did you plan to buy a candle, a set of skincare products, or another throw blanket? Or did you walk in for something else, only to leave with a cart full of finds you didn't even know you wanted? That was not an accident. The stores are designed to slow you down, to guide you on a winding path that takes you from the entrance, past beauty products and home decor, through racks of clothes and handbags, finally arriving at the checkout where small, low-price items wait for you to grab while you stand in line. Those checkout lanes are intentionally packed with snacks, gadgets, travel-sized toiletries, and seasonal items because TJ Maxx knows that while you wait, your brain will look for small dopamine hits. A last-minute purchase feels like a small treat, a victory even when you had no plan to buy it when you walked in. And the tags are not random. Color-coded tags signal to your subconscious mind what is a deal, what is a clearance item, and what is special. The red tags catch your eye and give the impression of urgency, while the yellow tags mark final clearance, making you think this is your last chance. These signals trigger different responses in your mind, pushing you to act, buy, and add it to your cart before someone else does. There is also a clearance delay strategy that many shoppers do not notice. Instead of marking down items as soon as they are unsold, TJ Maxx delays deep discounts to keep the items on the racks longer, allowing more people to see them and creating an illusion of scarcity while maintaining the higher price point for as long as possible. By the time the yellow tags appear, customers believe they are getting a final deal, but the product has already served its purpose by pulling in traffic and attention for weeks. It is a carefully crafted system, one that has been tested and perfected over decades. Back in the 1980s, TJ Maxx was seen as a discount store selling excess inventory from department stores, a place where bargains were real and the finds felt genuine. But as they grew, they discovered that controlling the shopper's psychology was more profitable than relying on random overstock. They learned how to engineer desire, create a narrative of scarcity, and make every aisle feel like a chance at something rare. What happens inside a TJ Maxx is not chaos, even if it looks like it. It is a psychological experiment that runs every day, making billions. At the same time, you feel like you are outsmarting the system, hunting down a deal others missed. But the truth is, the store is the hunter, and you are the prize. And while you are being psychologically manipulated, there is something even darker happening behind the scenes. Something that ties your impulse buys to factories you have never heard of and workers you will never meet, shaping the real cost of your so-called treasures. 3. The hidden dangers. In 2022, the United States Consumer Product Safety Commission fined TJX $13 million for selling these recalled items. $13 million sounds like a headline, but for a company pulling in over $56 billion in annual sales, it was a cost of doing business. The real story was what those recalled products were and why it mattered far more than the fine. Among the items sold was the Fisher-Price Rock and Play Sleeper, a product that had already been linked to over 30 infant deaths, removed from shelves nationwide, and banned from sale for safety risks that every parent deserves to know about. Yet there it was, quietly back on the floor of a discount store, waiting to be bought by a tired parent looking for an affordable solution, unaware that the sleeper was part of a recall list that could turn a nursery into a place of heartbreak. This was not an isolated mistake or a one-time slip through the system. The investigation found multiple instances across several years, from 2014 to 2019, where recalled products made it into shopping bags under the bright lights of a TJ Maxx checkout counter. The items ranged from dangerous baby products to appliances known to catch fire. Each time, the company took the fine, pulled the item, and returned to business as usual. Behind the scenes, workplace safety violations followed the same pattern. In 2022, TJX was cited for workplace hazards that included blocked exits, unsafe storage practices, and employee injuries that were entirely preventable. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration found issues that reflected a company moving too fast, cutting corners to keep shelves stocked while ignoring the safety of both employees and customers. Imagine walking through those polished aisles, past carts filled with toys and discounted clothing, unaware that the item you are about to buy might have been recalled years ago, returned quietly to the shelves in a system that prizes constant movement of inventory over accountability. It is not just about profit margins. It is about a culture that sees safety as a secondary consideration, a fine as a manageable loss, and the lives of customers and workers as numbers on a balance sheet. If you bought baby products from TJ Maxx between 2014 and 2019, you need to hear this. The sleeper you found on sale, the appliance you grabbed at the checkout, and the toys your kids loved could have been on that list, a part of a recall you never heard about. This is the hidden danger of discount retail empires, where sourcing is a maze of manufacturers, middlemen, and clearance deals so tangled that even store managers cannot always confirm the origins of what sits on their shelves. The scale and speed of operations mean safety checks slip, recalls are ignored, and the customer becomes the final line of defense, often without knowing it. The narrative is always about deals and treasure hunts, but the reality is that the empire grows because the system is designed to keep products moving at any cost, to keep customers buying, even if it means ignoring safety, recalls that should be non-negotiable. It is a business model built on speed and volume, where the stories behind the products rarely see the light of day. The consequences are borne by families who trusted a brand promising value without revealing the hidden risks attached to every discounted item. But here is what is truly shocking. The empire keeps growing despite all this. The aisles remain packed, the carts remain full, and the system keeps churning, bigger and faster than before, because customers still believe in the promise of the hunt, unaware of the real price behind every deal. 4. The empire strikes back. In 2025, executives at TJX sat around polished tables under the soft hum of fluorescent lights, reviewing plans that would push their empire into its next phase. Despite fines, despite lawsuits, despite the hidden dangers behind their aisles, they were ready to expand again. This time, it would not just be another handful of stores, it would be 130 new stores in a single year, each one ready to pull in shoppers with the same promise of hidden deals and discounted brands. Each one another piece of the empire. In the United States, 90 new stores would open, each carefully planned and placed to catch the next wave of shoppers looking for that rush of finding a bargain. The company had found that economic uncertainty was not a hurdle, but an opportunity. People looking to stretch every dollar would walk through those doors, carts ready, eyes scanning for the next hidden gem, while the company scaled to meet that demand, store by store. Outside the United States, the plan was even bolder. TJX was moving into Mexico, bringing its treasure hunt retail strategy to a new market where economic pressures made off-price shopping feel like the only option. In the Middle East, TJX planned its entrance, preparing to sell the same promise of luxury for less under bright lights and carefully planned layouts, testing the same psychological tactics that had worked so well in America. These new stores would look familiar, with aisles that twisted in a deliberate maze from the entrance to the checkout, creating a journey designed to slow shoppers down, to tempt them into picking up one more item they had not planned to buy. The color tags would still catch the eye, coded to feel like a signal of urgency. The shelves would continue to rotate with products that came and went quickly, crafting an artificial sense of scarcity that made every purchase feel like a small victory. This was not a new strategy. It was the same playbook that had worked in the United States, tested and perfected, and is now scaled globally. The treasure hunt model had proven that the promise of a deal was more powerful than concerns about safety recalls, more enticing than questions about sourcing, and stronger than the headlines detailing the company's controversies. It worked because it tapped into something deeper, a need to find value, to feel like you were winning even if the game was designed by someone else. The expansion was not a fluke. It was proof that the system worked. Each new store validated that the manipulation was effective and that the psychology behind the layout, pricing, and product rotation was not just a tactic, but a strategy for dominance. Every new market was a sign that the company's methods could be replicated anywhere, turning the rush of finding a bargain into a global business model. They are not just fooling Americans anymore. This psychological playbook is going global, shaping the way people shop from Boston to Mexico City, from Dallas to Dubai, pulling in customers who think they are beating the system when in reality, they are playing by the rules that TJX set long before they walked through the door. But here is the real question. What can you do about it? How do you shop smart when the system is designed to play you? 5. Breaking free from the illusion. If you want to break free from the illusion, start here. When you pick up an item, flip the tag. If it says TJX Europe, that piece was made specifically for the store, not rescued from a boutique or a luxury retailer's overstock. It is a signal that what you are holding was created for the treasure hunt, not discovered through it, and that changes the value you think you see in the price. Timing also matters, but not in the way people believe. Many think the best day to shop is when the store feels empty, or on weekends when markdowns happen. In reality, the ideal time is when you see the yellow clearance tags, often in the middle of the week after new inventory arrives, but before the crowds clear it out. This is not about rushing for a deal, but about knowing when artificial scarcity is at its weakest. Next time you hold an item, ask yourself, what is the real value here? A discounted price tag can feel like winning, but only if you know the original value. A shirt marked from $50 down to $15 may have never sold for $50 anywhere outside of that store. The illusion of savings becomes clear when you compare quality and true retail pricing elsewhere, not just the red stickers screaming for your attention. Watch for red flags like inconsistent sizing, strange labels, or tags that list an original price with no clear origin. These are signs that the product was not a leftover treasure, but a piece manufactured to look like one. And when you shop, consider stepping outside the cycle. Thrift shops, direct-to-consumer brands with clear pricing, and local artisans offer choices that reflect real value, not an illusion crafted in a fluorescent maze. The truth is, the biggest secret is not what TJ Maxx is hiding from you. It is what you choose to do with this knowledge. You can walk into that store and still find something you love, but now you know how to see through the illusion and decide if it is worth it. On your terms, not theirs. Because conscious consumerism is not about guilt. It is about power. It feels like a victory when you walk out of TJ Maxx clutching a bag, believing you cracked the code and snagged a hidden deal. But the real secret is that you have been paying for the thrill, not the treasure. You have been buying the feeling of being smart while playing inside a system built on manufactured scarcity. This is not about guilt, it is about seeing clearly. Because once you see the treasure hunt illusion for what it is, you can never unsee it. And that is when you truly become a smart shopper. Drop your thoughts below on your last deal at TJ Maxx, and we'll see you in our next video.